This is Davor from Derokki, and in this lesson we're going to talk about static versus logical properties. So let's dive right into it. I've cloned the RTLflow Styleguide, and I recommend that you do the same and to build those things with me that we're doing now. And so what I'll do is I'll show you how different properties within the Webflow visual CSS panel behave. And so let's start off and let's build maybe a simple container, I'm going to call this a wrapper. Of course, this is not going to be client first based, but it's not important for our purpose right now. And inside of this, I will add a block, okay? Let's name this blue box. And I'll make this, I don't know, let's say 7 rem like this. And I will now add the background color of blue. Alright, and so now we have a blue box inside a wrapper with a layout of display block. And so what you can do now is whenever you build a website that should be English and Arabic, say you go to the body, and you can always test the bidirectionality using the dir attribute. So you use dir RTL, and you can now see that the box is aligned to the left side. The reason for that is because layout and like the display property itself is a bidirectional property. Or you can also say logical property, which means that it flips the direction, or it flips the side from which it's going based on the direction of the website. And so you can do the same, for example, with a Flexbox. So if I say we make this a Flexbox, and let me just remove a letter like this, and I go in here, let's make this a Flexbox, okay? Align this to the left, right? And we can have, let's say, a few boxes, okay? Let's just add a few boxes here, and I'll give it a bit of space, like this. So if I do it like this, and now if I have a Flexbox aligned like this, it's aligned to the left, right? It says alignment left. If I set to RTL, it's actually gonna run in the other direction. You see, this is the first box that I selected. This is the second, this is the third. And so this is a bit misleading actually. It should not be called left, it should be called start. But as you can see, with the grid, it's gonna be the same. So if you have a grid, 1, 2, 3, the grid is also a logical way of displaying content. So that's the first thing, which you can remember, is that the display property is a logical property. And so let's keep going. Let's get rid of this, and let's actually make this. Yeah, let's make this a Flexbox, but I will stretch the content. Okay, I will stretch the content. Let's make this LTR again. So it's LTR now. And let's make 2 rem space. Let's add a text, okay? Text is like the next thing that you usually use. So this is some text inside of a div block. That's what it says. And so if I now go in and if I now change the direction, you can see that the text is also bidirectional. And you can also see that the point, which marks the end of the sentence, is now on the other side, which is good, because if you have Arabic, say, then the dot is at the end of the text. And so that's good. And that's the default style, right? So you see I haven't applied any style. If I duplicate this, and remember, we're now on RTL, okay? If I set this to text align left, which is this here, you can see now the text actually stays on the left side. So if I remove this, you see that? Very interesting, right? Although the text stays on the left side, the direction actually is right to left. So what you would do is you would actually add this in. And this could be like an English text that you use in both English and Arabic. For some reason, you might have a text that you don't translate. And so you use that, including the direction property. Actually, I might actually add this. I might actually add this as like a as part of the text align left inside line first. I think I actually add this in because that's very useful. But you see that the text align property in general, if it's default, it's logical. But once you apply those styles from the CSS panel, it's not logical anymore. So that's one thing you consider, and we'll go deeper into each of the properties and how to manipulate them. But it's just an overview that I want to give you. Let's do spacing. Okay, let's add another box. Let's add a box, and we're gonna make this 100% and maybe 7 rem height. We're gonna make this blue again. Right, so this is the blue box 100. Okay, let's call it like this. And now I want to have a box inside of it. Okay, I'll add a box inside of it. And remember, this is now a flex, which stretches, so it's a logical property, which means that anything inside of this container as well should behave logical, right? And so let's do a red box maybe, and we will make this 100%, color red. And what I'll do now is I'll add some padding actually, okay? So we'll add, let's say 2 rem on here. We'll add a rem at the top and a rem at the bottom. Okay. And, well, this is LTR, okay? And you can see that the padding is on the left side. But if I now re-add the RTL attribute, you can see that the padding is still on the left side. It should be going to the other side, right? And so you see that the padding is actually a static property, right? Padding left is a static property. It's the same with margin, right? If I add, let's say, free margin to this, actually, let me see. Yeah, if I add free margin to this, which now actually is good. So this is left to right, and so you have the margin on the left side. If I set it to right to left, you can see that the margin doesn't translate to the other side. It actually stays on the left side, but because the document is flowing from right to left, the margin is like kind of an outer space basically, right? But again, you see that margin left in this case and margin right, those are static properties, and so they don't flip around. Let's do another example. Let's make, tell you what, let's make this red box relative, and let's add some kind of, let's add some kind of stuff inside of it. So I'll actually put it like this, and we say 5 rem. And so this is going to be a relative bread box, and inside of it I want to add, let's say I add like an image. Maybe we add like, we add our nice little icon here, okay? So I'm going to call this icon. It's going to be 2 rem. Okay. And I want this icon to actually align to the top left of this, okay? And I'll give this like 1 rem of padding here, maybe a bit of padding there. And so now this icon is aligned to the left side. And again, I'm already starting on RTL, right? But this is how it looks like on LTR. And this is how it looks like on RTL. Again, we call this position left. So we call this position left, we call this position right. It doesn't matter what you use here, if it's absolute, fixed, sticky, or whatever. Position left and position right are static properties. So again, this doesn't flip around. So you need a workaround for that. You can't use the Webflow CSS panel in this case. Let's do another thing. Let me actually add a border here. Let's add a left side border. Let's make this yellow. Like this, okay? And so again, you see how the border stays on the left side. It doesn't change at all. So you see, while the layout is logical, padding, margin, applied text, position left, borders, they are static. And well, let's do one more example. Let's add a slider in so you can see how a slider behaves usually. So let's give the mask, let's say we give it, let's give it maybe like 15 rem. So I want the mask to be 50 rem. And also let's just reset the direction again. So let's make the mask 15 rem. Let's make the sliders 15 rem as well. And I'll add some spacing to them. And the slider's gonna have a background color of green. And I'm gonna replicate that for the other elements here, like that, okay? So we have 3 sliders. I'll remove this, actually I'll keep the background. And we'll also give this 15 rem. So slider is 15 rem, the mask is 15 rem, we're gonna make the overflow visible. And if I now play this, you can see how I can run through the slider pretty normally, right? But the moment I change, oh, there we go. The moment I change the direction, you see that at least the numbers, the order has flipped around. But if I scroll through the slider, like that doesn't work, right? So the Webflow native slider is actually only built to work left to right. And so another thing that needs a workaround. And so it's just a few properties that I've shown you, which we'll go through in this course. There's a few other ones. Let me see. Have we done everything? Yeah, let's show icons and transforms as well. So say I have an icon. Let's say I want to mirror an icon. I'll just call this icon again. Or actually, sorry, let's call this arrow. And we'll give this like 100 pixel. Well, you see that the alignment changes, right? But the arrow doesn't flip around. Because the arrow doesn't, there's no reason for an image to automatically flip based on the direction. So you need another thing for that. And let's do another transform. Like if you hover over this, let's say I want on hover this element to move a bit to the right. So what we can do is we can go for hover and we can go for a 2D transform. We can do maybe 2 rem. And then what I'll do is I'll add a transition because I want this to be a bit more smooth, because right now it's a bit fast. So I'll just do all properties. So you see how the transform is going left to right. I am adding back the RTL attribute. The transform is still going to the right, right? The arrow should be mirrored and the transform should be going right to left. And so transform, animations, IX2 animations, they're all static properties that don't flip with the website direction. So I've shown you the few examples here: text align, padding margin, position left, right, icon, slider, borders, transform. There's a few more, right? There's float and clear, there's shadows, there's the object fit when you have the image that you have to align it left or right. It's basically, I'll show you right here. It's basically this property, right? Because this property is also static. You have quotes, lists, slidebox and stuff. We won't go into that in this course. Those will be extra lessons in the future. But it's just that I want to show you when you build a website and you do very simple things like aligning text or applying some space, right? Once you flip the direction, it's not actually that easy, right? Like you see this? Like things don't flip around, things don't mirror the way they should. And so RTLflow comes with the tools to make static properties logical and logical properties static. And so that will be part of the next lessons. We'll go through each of those properties, the most common ones that you'll be using, and you'll see how you can manipulate them to be RTL friendly, and that way you can build, English, Arabic, multi-language websites, for example. So that'll be part of the next lessons, and I'll see you there.